Today I'm going to show you guys how you can practice chords in a specific way. This is a method that I've been using for many years. It's really beneficial. It's going to help you a lot once you apply this method to your playing or to your practicing routine. So a lot of people there are practicing a lot of scales up and down. That's cool, that's important as well. But a lot of people, they don't practice chords systematically. And I believe that if you do that, it's going to help you a lot, both when it comes to playing solo, to play together with people, to play in a trio or whatever style. So I'm going to show you, but first let's talk a little bit about the chords for a while. So whenever you're playing any jazz standard, there are three types of chords. So the first type of chord is a major 7, and then you have the minor 7, and then you have the dominant 7. And when you play jazz piano, if you see a C7 somewhere, then you know that you can play that C7 in multiple ways. So you can always add notes to this chord. So we're going to talk about the dominant 7 for a while. So what I do, or what I think of, is that we have 3 layers to all of the chords. So you have got the C7 like this, and you can also add notes then from the third layer and the second layer. Second layer is 9, 11, and 13. So this is the first layer, second layer, 9, 11, and 13. And what you can do with this is that you, just to demonstrate how this works. So now if I'm playing this one, and I'm moving this one down here, together with this one, you see that I'm playing all of the notes within the scale, like a big cluster. But I'm not playing the black keys, except for this one, which is the 7. So you have the black keys, that's what I call the third layer, and that is a flat 9, a sharp 9, and you have the sharp 11 or flat 5, and sharp 5 or flat 13. So that means if I'm playing a C7, I can always add the flat 9 or sharp 9, or a combination of these. So I can play the sharp 11 as well as playing the flat 9. And then you can do the same with the flat 13 as well as the flat 9 or sharp 9, like this. But when you play jazz piano, when you study the masters from the past, you'll see that there are conventions, there are conventional ways to play these voicings. So this system that I'm about to show you, you don't have to do all the voicings that you can think of. It's enough to work out a few. So the first thing I see a lot of the masters from the past did was to skip the 5th in the first layer. So they're playing 1, 3, and 7 without the 5th. And then the second thing is that there are some voicings that are going, you can see them over and over again. I'm going to teach you now a specific voicing. A specific voicing, that means that this is a specific way to play a chord. So a voicing is a way to play a chord. I hope that makes sense. For example, the C7. I could play the C7 just like this. Now I'm playing 1, 3, 7 with my left hand, and with my right hand I'm playing 3, flat 13, and 1. So I'm going to show you now the system. The system is to practice this chord, this voicing, throughout the chromatic scale. So the chromatic scale is like this. And that means that you're going to just move this voicing up through the chromatic scale. And back down. So that's step 1 of 4. Next step is the second step. Then you're going to play this through the whole tone scale. Same principle, but now we're just moving in whole tone steps. Third step is to practice this chord through the next whole tone scale. And last step, fourth step, is to go through the circle of fifths. And I usually go left in the circle of fifths. So that means they're gonna play from C to F to B flat to E flat and so on and so forth with that chord. So now the idea is that you're going to apply this chord. Your fingers will be ready to apply this chord whenever you like, or this particular voicing whenever you like. So let's say you have been practicing this voicing. Now you can play a 2-5-1 to, for example, to F. So then you have a G minor 7 to C7 to F. And then I can add this voicing very easily because I've been practicing this so much, right? And let's say I have been practicing this voicing and I also had another variation to this voicing, which is to have the flat 13. This is the flat 13. And then you have the sharp 9 as well. This is the sharp 9. So I'm going to play the 2-5-1 to F twice. First time I'm going to play with this voicing, the first voicing. And then the second time I'm going to play with the second voicing. And of course, this principle you can use over any jazz standard you like. Just make sure that you're not clashing with whomever is playing the melody. This is the only thing that you need to think about, so then you're totally free to play whatever voicing you'd like. Let's play a famous jazz standard, Blue and Green. And I'm going to add this voicing on all of the dominant 7th chords. Yeah, but you can also take it one step further. So now you have learned the voicing, and then you can use this voicing and start adding fills. So a fill, could be many things. For example, you can play, this is just a voicing, and then you can play like this. Think of that like a fill, or you can just run that voicing up, like the upper structure of this voicing you should just do like this. Like an arpeggio, or you can do like down like this. There are so many opportunities that you can choose from. So let's try this now with some more people. And what I've found to be true is that once you have been practicing all of this in many keys and many different variations, it's so much more easy to make some interesting solos when you play jazz piano. So a combination of the chords as well as the scales, as well as your own ideas, that's what I believe creates the magic. So let me show you now a solo version of this same tune. I'm going to just improvise over the chord changes. while the music is playing, here is a summary. We have learned that by practicing the voicings by playing them through the chromatic scale, the whole tone scales, and the circle fifths, you'll be prepared so that you can play the voicings whenever you feel like. So the big idea here is to get the voicing under your fingers and also into your head, so that you both hear and play whatever voicing of any chord you desire. And just like there are both yin and yang, up and down, man and woman to music, there are chords and scales. And in my opinion, chords and scales are two sides of the same coin. So by working a lot on practicing both voicings and scales, you'll get the complete control of the harmony in music. So, with this control, you can play the harmony of any tune in any style in multiple ways. So to demonstrate this principle, I'll end this little lesson by playing a tune in a completely different style, and that is a crossover from jazz rock to gospel. So this is an original tune of mine written as an exercise at first, but then I figured that I'd like to present the tune as as a tribute to one of my first influences as a musician, and that was the band from the 80s called Koinonia. The tribute tune of mine is called Heaven, and this tune is written so it works perfectly with three types of voicings: a dominant 7 with a flat 5, a sharp 5, and a flat 9. So you can download the sheet for this music together with a summary and my suggestions for what voicings to practice first in what particular way. So please click the link under this video to get all of this for free. Also, if you like this video and want more, please hit like, subscribe, and share, and whatever you do, take care of your music. This is Gjermund Sivertsen with the tune Heaven. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.